Welcome to Narca Tales. Last weekend, I nearly watched my best friend die, only to discover I'd unwittingly shattered her dream proposal. Tonight's story is one of love, trust, and the fine line between a hero and a villain in the blink of an eye. I've known Emily since kindergarten, bright, fearless, with a laugh that lit up the darkest places. At 29, she's built a life of her own, a career in digital art, a tight-knit circle of friends, and Chris, the man she's loved for 4 years. Chris, 31, is one of those go big or go home romantics. Flash mobs at dawn, scavenger hunts through back alleys, sunrise serenades atop city rooftops. It's the kind of love story Emily devours in movies, and always swore she wanted her own happily ever after. I'm 28, Emily's oldest confidant. When she invited me for a weekend visit, I packed my bags without hesitation, eager for late-night chats and our ritual of stumbling through thrift store racks at dawn. Saturday afternoon, we met by the river walk, sunlight dancing on the rippling water. Her eyes were bright. She'd just landed a gallery show downtown. I'd just left a week of late hours at the design firm. We chatted about everything and nothing, that comfortable hum of two souls who'd grown up side by side. Then it happened. A white van, no logo, no windows, rolled alongside us. The engine idled. The sliding door creaked open. 2 figures in black masks leapt out, their hands reaching for Emily's arms. Her scream cracked the sky. My heart thundered as time stretched thin and sharp. "Em!" I shrieked, adrenaline setting my muscles on fire. Instinct overtook reason. I yanked out my pepper spray, legal here but rarely used, sprayed the first masked face with every ounce of panic and fury I had. He stumbled back, clawing at tears in his eyes. The second man lunged for Emily's wrist. I kicked him in the shins so hard I heard the crack of bone through his jeans. Then, grabbing Emily's coat collar, I dragged her back behind a lamppost. 911. Help! Kidnapping! The words tumbled out as I shielded her with my body. Emily's tears stained her cheeks as she gasped and choked with shock. The van's engine roared. I feared they'd return for another round. Half-dazed, Emily couldn't believe what she'd seen. I called for an ambulance, for the police, for any witness to our trauma. Citizens gathered, phones emerged, and somewhere a siren grew louder. Minutes later, a police cruiser's lights painted the street in frantic blue and red. Officers swarmed the van and ordered its doors open. There stood Chris, handcuffed, bleary-eyed, flanked by 2 friends in matching black ski masks. The stolen scene of a crime collapsed into a confession. "It's me, Chris," he sobbed, peeling off his mask. "It's just a prank, a proposal." His voice cracked under the weight of pepper spray still in his eyes. The masks. The van. The adrenaline. I'd seen a kidnapping. He'd staged a crime scene because Emily had dreamed of a cinematic proposal. "I want to feel like Scarlett in that movie," she'd said, eyes shining. So Chris, in all his misguided devotion, plotted a mock abduction to end with "Will you marry me?" underneath a banner of rose petals in the back of his friend's cargo van. He burst from the shadows with a ring, tears streaming, knees kissing pavement. Emily stared, breathless, her brain scrambling to reconcile terror with love. "Of course," she finally cried, but the moment shattered. Ambulances cleared traffic cones, not rose petals. Officers patted Chris down, then escorted him away with gentle firmness. Emily's dream lay in ruins on the asphalt. That night, I sat in the police station lobby, Emily between me and a cup of bitter coffee, while Chris explained himself in whispered appeals through a single closed door. Emily's sobs echoed down the corridor, terror, betrayal, disappointment tangled into one unbearable wail. She'd wanted romance, she'd gotten trauma. And I, the loyal friend, felt a fierce blend of relief and guilt. In the wake of chaos, Chris's anger bloomed. He stormed out of the precinct, unused proposal ring in hand, and texted me venomous blame. "You ruined everything. You embarrassed me in front of everyone." Emily faced me the next morning, red-eyed and hollow, saying, "I get why you panicked, but I wished you'd understood." Under a shawl of fear, she still craved that fairytale. And yet, how could I have read the room when the room had been masked, hidden, primed for an ambush? Over the following days, Whispers trailed us through art galleries and coffee shops. Friends asked, "Did you really think she was taken? Or were you just jealous?" Strangers on social media branded me a spoiler. Judith, they scrolled, "How could you? A true friend would trust." Meanwhile, the police report still bore my fingerprints on the masks, receipts for pepper spray, pages of testimony describing the van's license plate. One false move, they told me, could have landed Chris in jail, or me in a wrongful assault suit. Emily's ring, silver on velvet, rests untouched in her bedside drawer. She can't decide if she hates Chris or mourns the proposal she'll never have. I stand at her door each morning, coffee in hand, tears threatening. She asks me if I regret saving her life. I want to scream that I'd do it again in a heartbeat, no matter the damage to a perfectly choreographed surprise. But here's the twist. That van wasn't only a prank prop. Chris's buddies weren't just friends, they were strangers he'd hired off a red-flagged website. Men with no names, no loyalty to Emily, no stake in her happiness. He'd promised them $200 apiece for their roles. $600 in cold cash to play abductors in his twisted romance. If I had hesitated 1 second, Emily might have slipped from my arms into real danger. Tonight, I lie awake with nightmares of those masks, of Emily's scream like a bullet tearing through my heart. I wonder if, somewhere in Chris's twisted love story, he ever paused to consider that love is not a stunt. That romance can kill as easily as protect. Emily still looks at me each morning with gratitude and sorrow tangled in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispers. But I can see her mind replaying every horrifying moment, every thought that her beloved had engineered her fear. In a few weeks, they'll gather roses and candles for what was meant to be the sweetest yes. But Emily has told Chris she needs space. He's left with a ring that now feels cursed, a proposal he can't rewind or mend. And I, her protector, her best friend, am left to bear the weight of both salvation and devastation. So, was I the villain for overturning a love story? Or the hero who saw a real nightmare hidden behind a glittering facade? I don't know. All I know is that when masks fall and real terror begins, the only question is, what would you do to save someone you love? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more real-world tales that live in the shadow between devotion and disaster. This has been Narca Tales, where truth is stranger and scarier than fiction. Good night, and stay safe out there.